Okay, this is the instructions for the safety for the food sessions on a Wednesday and a Saturday. We've got out the van. The driver puts keys around their neck. The driver of the van is the lead volunteer for the session. Okay, so we go round to the van. The doors will be open. And they click shut. So they don't flow open. So make sure you click them. Now, at the beginning of the session, it's important, do not open the hatch until you are ready to serve your food. There will be people waiting for you. They have to wait. So what you do is you come into the van and you close the doors. Now, for the purpose of this film, I'm not closing the doors because obviously we've got somebody filming it. But at all times during the session, these back doors must be shut. 2 volunteers inside, 2 volunteers outside. 2 volunteers outside, one must be the driver with the keys. The volunteers inside, one of those people will have an alarm. I have my own alarm if I'm on session, but there's a spare alarm up here which needs to be taken off and put around people's necks. So I'm now just going to get in the van. As you get in the van, first thing you will need to do is come up here and turn the lights on. The lights come on. The van would have been charged and the lights would be fine, but there are spare LED lights hanging up here on the side should you have an issue with the battery for any reason in your lights, particularly in the winter when it gets dark earlier on in the day. And there's another LED light here that is also a mosquito-y, buzzy, zappy thing, so you can use that too. And just to tell you, our first aid kit, which has naloxone, which is for a potential opiate overdose. You've had the training for that, and obviously if you haven't had the training for that, contact me please. And we have a defib as well, and again with defib training, that is an annual thing that we do. If you're unsure or unhappy about that, please contact me. The next thing you have is the hot water supply here. To turn the hot and cold water on, you will need to turn the pump on. We don't tend to use the pump unless we actually need the water, because it will drain the battery. So I would suggest you just turn that on and off as you need it. As you come into the van, your dirty water supply is in under the sink here, which will have a pipe connected to it, and on the other side will be your cold water, your fresh drinking water. You just need to undo the lid and put the pipe inside, and that will suck up the cold water and push it out of the tap. Obviously you'll need to have the pump on for that. That water is drinkable, and if you turn the gas on that will supply hot water, all that will be done in a separate training program. So this is mainly for safety. So what we suggest is during the course of the session you get your food ready. There will be 2 of you in here. The first things you do is you make sure that this door is unlocked from the other side. This means in case of emergency you can gain access to the cab and you can get away. It is strongly suggested in an emergency, if it does kick off, the 2 people in the van just sit on the floor. The 2 people outside the van, one which is the driver, get in the cab, make sure this door is locked, and you drive away somewhere safe. If necessary, leave the hatch open and go around the corner. The hatch then can be safely shut. It is priority that the volunteers are kept safe at all times. So it is important not to panic about putting the hatch down if you deem it's not safe to do so. There is a lock on both sides of this door. Through using this door, we've realised that the safest thing to do is actually at the end of a session is to lock it from this side. It just ensures that if it is forgotten for any reason, you can access the cab from here. Okay, and that's just a simple lock. Once you've organised what you're doing, then you open the hatch. Now, you prepared all your food, you're all ready to go. You've got all your things you need, spare cutlery, crockery and everything here. My Brit or another volunteer would have stocked the food up for you. All your tea and coffee is in place, and obviously you've got your hot water. It's essential you keep your hot water, knives, anything potentially dangerous out of reach. So please do not leave stuff lying around, perhaps that people can reach in and grab. The important thing with the hatches, there is a warning sign here. This hatch flicks open when it is initially opened, so please make sure there is a volunteer around the other side to ensure that there's nobody in the way that is going to hit their face, because it does come out with quite a shock. So You just pull the levers and clip them into place. It is still quite a new van, so they are a bit stiff. And then it's a good idea to shout, "Warning, hatch for opening!" And you push the hatch, and you see it will flick up. Push the tray down. With that, we do have, because of COVID and general hygiene, it's a good idea to put your alcohol gel out on the counter so everybody can access that and clean their hands. We have plenty of gel around in various places around the van, gloves and masks for safety. Before the session also, of course, I forgot to mention that make sure everything's wiped down first, and there is a in-depth session checklist in a folder that must be sorted, clicked off and worked through. There's a couple of pages, and at the end of the session there's also a sign-off page. This is in place to check that everything is done properly according to food standard, everything is done safely, and if there's any comments or any issues or anything that needs to be addressed, this is a way of communicating with me, and you sign the session off afterwards. Also at the back of the van, now again the doors will be shut, so you will have access to these in a closer region than I do now. You do have information of all your local statutory charitable services, so if you do have somebody who turns up who needs some advice about local charities, what to do, where to go, there is a huge amount of information I've put together there. This folder has got, if potential volunteers turn up, application forms. There's general soup kitchen information. If somebody gives a donation, there is gift aid forms for them to have, and again another set of risk assessments. I strongly suggest you read the risk assessments carefully. We do have a van and emergency protocol here, and it's important to decide who is the lead for the session. As we've said, the driver who has the keys around their neck should be lead. The driver should be an outside volunteer, not an inside volunteer. This means they can access the cab to drive the van away quickly should there be emergency. We do have a safe word. It's really important that everyone knows a safe word. We've chosen something that hopefully not to alert people too much, and it is the oven on. Please keep the back doors shut, as I said. Double check the bulkhead door to make sure that you can access the cab, and keys must be for the alarm and for the van themselves must be around people's necks in a place of safety. And it is important that one volunteer uses the alarm and holds the alarm at all times. There are instructions on here how to use it, but it's quite easy. You just press the button at the side and it will slightly buzz for you and the lights will come on. You've got one that is for GPS, one to show that it's on, and one is to show that the battery is low. And to call the helpline, which is a direct line to the police. If they deem there's an issue, you press the SOS button and hold it down. They will either talk to you, or if they listen in, and if they listen and deem it's not appropriate to talk to you, they will phone 999. I always suggest a volunteer phones 999 if safe to do so, and that is probably more likely to be somebody in the cab, because you can probably sit on the floor and hide away from the outside so nobody sees. If you have to leave the van, leave your cars behind. You can come back and get those later. And we have said that the best thing to do is to go to the Co-op car park in Speen, and you can have your deep brief, a little bit of a chill down time if you are worried, and then you can all discuss together about going back to get your car. There will be a car parked in my driveway from the driver, so you can always go back and get the car from there, and or drive back down to the wharf safely in one vehicle. I hope that helps you with everything today, and if you've got any issues with anything that I've raised, please email me, meryl@newburysoupkitchen.org.uk. Thank you.